Hello everybody, I hope you're keeping well. It has been a while since I've been on, so I do apologise for that. It's just really hard at the moment to create content of anything, I don't know, anything that's kind of different and stands out. I don't want to do just, oh, this is my day, this is, you know what I mean? I don't do stuff like that on here anyway, because I think it's weird. But I was sorting out and cleaning out last night, and I felt kind of nostalgic. And I found I've kept majority, apart from the odd few, majority of all the phones that I've owned uh, since I was old enough to have a phone. But what I didn't realise today as well, it kind of falls in perfectly with the nostalgia sort of thing, because today, and this is going to be a bit confusing as like you see my YouTube video start from, but today has been 10 years since I've had this YouTube channel. So I started this YouTube channel on the 23rd of January 2011. I would have been about 13 going on 14 at the time, because I'm going to be 24 soon in February. And originally I used to just edit videos, make videos, stuff like that. And in 2015, I did try and start vlogging and stuff, but I just felt that, I don't know, I just felt that I wasn't confident enough to do it, and I just feel like really awkward to do it, and I didn't really know what to make, whereas I kind of got to last year and I kind of really, really wanted to do it, and I was like, well, you know what, stuff it, might as well do it. I know how I've not been so active on my channel recently, and I do apologise for that. It's one of them, like I said, it's just hard to find content to make, or kind of good content. So with no further ado, I thought I'd kind of jump in. I've kind of got it in order of what I have. Some of the phones that I don't have, I still have the boxes of. The two phones that I do not have are I can't remember what it's called. I looked at it yesterday, but I can't remember what it's called. But if anyone remembers it, it was given to me, to be honest, and it was a Nokia slide-up phone. I always wanted it back in the day, and it had all like the play pause button on the side of it. It was more designed around music, and it had a camera shutter as well, which I forgot about that. I remember when phones had camera buttons and everything like that. So I thought I'd start off. So I was probably about, oh God, it's that long ago now. I was probably about the age of 9 or 10, probably 11 when I had my first phone. It was given to me because my mum, she had a better phone. This was my first ever phone. I absolutely adore this. I think it's so cute, but it's like so small. But at the time as a kid, I had smaller hands, so it was kind of one of them. It didn't feel that small. Can I just say though, and I know your old Nokia users are probably going to come for me for this, but it was so much better than a Nokia. You had your Snake game. I had so many games on this. I had like a Snake on it as well, but I had bowling and all of that, and I used to play the games for ages. And I remember at the time as well, because it's kind of, it wasn't necessarily that it was a new thing, but obviously at my age, it was a new thing for me. And I just remember, because like me and my best mate, we used to, before we had, I mean, she had a mobile before me, but before we had actual mobiles, obviously we used to call on the landline, which a lot of people don't really have anymore. In my family home, we still do. But we used to speak on the landline phone all the time to each other, like after school, like, oh my God, that's it. And we used to think that was cool, honestly. I'm pulling on the mic here, hold on. And then when this happened, we had to text, by the way, I don't know if you can see this, we had to text with numbers like that. And remember, you used to have to press the key several times just to get a letter. But I absolutely adored this phone. I still think it's cute, but the only bugger is I can't find the charger. And it's a weird charger. That's the charger. Can you see? Is that the charger or is that the headphone? No, that's the charger. That's the charger right there. And also as well, I don't know if you can see it. Look how big SIM cards used to be. They're massive. And yes, this didn't have a camera at the time. But who needed a camera? So I was just like, oh my God, I can text my best mate. Oh my God, we can call each other. Hi, you know, honestly. And then I went on to, now I wanted that, when I was mentioned about the Nokia phone, I wanted that first, but I was talked out of it because I was getting a PSP at the time for Christmas. So it was obviously expensive and I would never want to do that. This phone, loved. It was a flip phone LG. I used to hang up calls. Again, used to text on this. And this is really thin and light as well, but I just used to remember at the time after you used to hang up because you're like... And then you used to have the little LCD screen. And what was it was with phones as well back then? Why was it they always made it very awkward when it comes to charging and headphones? Like, that's the charging thing. This is flat. I don't even know where the charger is. I couldn't tell you. I don't think it's in the box. Might be. No, it's not in the box. And then the headphone socket and the weird to try and make it so it doesn't get wet or damaged. Oh God, that's how good it is. I've just broke it. Or maybe it was broke already. I don't know. And then the headphone socket. You couldn't use normal earphones on that. No, you couldn't. You had to use ones that bloody come with it because they were smaller. Yeah, and apart from that though, I adored this phone. It did me well. The only thing was is it never recorded video, only took pictures, and I would love to go on this now just to see what photos are on there. I think I've got photos from when I went to Madame Tussauds in London on a school trip. That's how long I had this phone. And then the next phone that I had was this bad boy here. I actually think this is really wicked now. Now, this is when phones decided to become normal, because at the time as well, this was before USB-C or the what is now as the fire cable, I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, on the iPhone. But this had the micro USB charger. So obviously someone had the same charging thing, you could charge their phone. But the beauty about this phone as well, oh, and it had the normal headphone thing. The cool thing about this phone, can we just appreciate it just for a moment? I'm gonna have to do it this way, and can I do it this way? Boom. I used to think I was wicked, and it was like, this is the first time that I could have a actual keyboard. Now look how tiny them keys are. Look at my hands now. I don't know if you can see it if I put it high enough, but yeah. So I was like texting away, and then when you finish, I found some funny pictures on here. When it comes to edit it, I'll try and put it in if I can. Some of the pictures I found of what I looked like then. And this was, I think, the first phone that actually recorded video as well, which it was terrible. But again, absolutely love this phone. I like how small it is. But now, like, my phone is a 6.7 inch screen. So this is bizarre for me. And then the next phone that I had was, do you remember when Orange was a thing? And they did all of their own range of phones because they weren't the only one that I had. This is the Orange Sydney. It's right there. As you can see, she's bashed up. I did get some photos off here. The touchscreen is crap because it's the old touchscreen. If everyone remembers it, I think it's, what do they call it now? The resistive touchscreen. So like now on the phones, most of them, you can do the whole, when you pinch, you can put multiple fingers on the screen and it recognises it. You can do it with this. You went like that, the screen used to go funny. You used to have to press the zoom button because it only recognised one. I broke this. I can whisper because I got the microphone, because my parents were upstairs. I lied and I said to my best mate, because my best mate was there. Shout out to Abby. I just went, I don't like this phone, and I went poof, 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 like that off the curb. I had to be about 14 at the time. I know it's bad. And she's like, oh, when I like smashed the screen. The screen still works barely. Yeah, that was bad. And so I said to my dad, I was like, oh, I was chasing Abby, and it fell out my pocket and smashed. And then we got this one. I get it out of the case because you can't really see it. Now, when I said weren't the only orange phone, I had Orange Barcelona. And get a shout out to her. I had this. I wanted a BlackBerry at the time. If you can see that. I wanted a BlackBerry at the time. But my parents refused to buy me one. And they were expensive. I think for the time as well, even though the BlackBerries like at the time, the features that I had were definitely not worth the damn price that they were charging. Like, you had a 2 megapixel camera or a 4 megapixel camera and you try to charge 99 quid. Excuse me. Rude. So I'm glad I never actually had one. But I had this, and it was the first Android operating system I had, and it's still the old Android. Old Android. Again, look how small the keys are. And this was the first one that I had WhatsApp on, and I had WhatsApp on in its early days too. Great. Even as an emoji button. Love that. It's so small. And at the time I thought that was quite a big phone, but yeah. Got a charger from the top and a power button. Was that the first phone? No, this was the first phone that had a power button on. Because obviously a lot of the old ones were that button was the power button. She's been through a lot, bless her. And then the next phone that I had, I made a very big jump of transition. I went to the Nokia Lumia 520, which was a Windows. So look how fat that is. I dropped that on a night out when I was really, really drunk. And what annoyed me is I smashed. It's not only smashed the outside of the screen, it smashed the inside, so I can't even turn it on without plugging it in as a charger because those are trifling, them buttons there. So, and you know what, on this phone, I have to say, looking back at the pictures now, the pictures are amazing, but at the time, I don't even know what megapixel this camera is, but at the time, the camera was amazing. Like, I still have some pictures and I look at them and go, wow. But obviously now I have like my current phone that I'm using, which is the A71, which I'll get to in a bit. That's a 64 megapixel camera on the back. So those pictures now comparing to this, but then it's a time thing. At the time, that was very good. And Nokia were known, especially their Windows phone. Like, I always wanted the Nokia Lumia, I think it was the 1020, which had a big camera on the back. Look, it was all about the camera. Can we just appreciate the camera button? And I always wanted that. But I went to this first, and I did like it. I did actually like it. But the only beef that I had with this was these two buttons here. And so basically, I have to show you. And again, the case is a bloody pain in the backside to get off. So I don't know if I'm going to have to do it. So I might have to edit it out. Oh, God. Come on! Is there no, like... See, this is when I used to prise it open with things that I have none now. Here we go. So this is the case. So the actual outside of the buttons are there. And obviously got the thing for the battery. But there, these things. But the actual buttons themselves are on the phone. Now, I don't know, I've never known if I was the only one that ever had this issue. But them buttons are crap. Because they're that pressed in that you can't even press them anymore, so therefore I can't turn it on. And I remember I had to change it, that I double tap the screen to wake it up. And there were so many times that my phone would be in my pocket and it started calling random people. I remember being on holiday there once and it called this airport so many times and they called me back. But I never answered it. And I was like, really? Oh, I got so mad with this phone in the end. Yeah, it was just... But she met her end accidentally. It's not the only running thing. I'm so clumsy. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm so clumsy to dropping phones. I'm surprised that isn't the way it is. Actually, no, it's got a crack on the back of the camera. Can't even lie about that. And then the next phone that I do not have, but I have the box, was this. This box ain't even necessary to be this size. Excuse me. Is the Bush Windows phone, which, let me see. I don't know if you can see the picture that well, if I'm focusing it that well to the camera. But that's what it looked like. You got two cases. It was basically a really like budget phone. Like, this is how budget it was. So it was Windows 8.1, which 8.1 was okay. I loved 8 and I loved 8.1. 10 was, because I had a 10. It was the 4-inch touchscreen. How small was that now? I've got a 6.7-inch screen. 4 gigabytes of storage. 5 megapixel rear camera with flash. 5 megapixels. What do you expect me to take with 5 megapixels? Do you know how much photo editing I used to have to do to make it look decent? Bush, you did me wrong. That's all I'm saying. Fast quad core CPU. beg to differ on that. Micro SD card slot, which most of my phones still do. I love expandable storage, and 2 years guarantee. And that, this is what I forgot about. The ones with the I keep saying micro SD card. It's not micro USB charger. Their chargers are crap, and I feel like Apple would the same time with the fat chargers, because like I'm really bad. I know you're not really supposed to, but I'm really bad that I use my phone while it's still on charge. But I've never had this problem with USB-C, but with the micro USB charger, they used to end up getting damaged and become really loose and never charged. So I was like, great, thanks for nothing. You know what I mean? So that was my problem with that. And then when I went to another Bush phone after that one, which was the budget one, but it was bigger, and it was Windows 10. But I liked it, but the problem was it got to, because I probably had that phone around about 2000, it was 2015, and I had it until 2016, because when I started working where I work now, I had that phone in the beginning. And my problem was with Windows is that a lot of apps had abandoned them, so the only apps that you could really have were Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and stuff like that. But you couldn't get Snapchat. You couldn't even get YouTube on it. I had to get like a third party one, and that was really like awful. Like it just didn't work that well. And I kind of just made a decision one day that I was just going to transition back to Android, because I was very used to that operating system. I like that operating system because I had tablets at the time that were Android. I have a Windows tablet that I'd never use. I've got a Samsung Galaxy Tab A10 now that obviously you've seen in past videos. But I was still familiar with Android, so I kind of was like, you know what, I want to make a trip back to Android. Right. Let's bring on the Alcatel. So I went back to an Alcatel Pixie 4. Well, where do I start with this? I'm not trying to shame them, because I don't know if they're still for sale now, or whether they might have improved them. I don't even know what the specs are on this damn thing. Does it tell me? Oh, here we go. Here we go. So it's a 5-inch display. Can we just say how fast that is? That's not even necessary. 5 megapixel front camera with a front flash, as you can see. Yeah. 8 megapixel rear camera. Doesn't even say with flash there, but it does have a flash. Steady videos. Now that is matter of opinion. 3G. It was 3G anymore. And a 6.0 Android operating system. Now, where do I start with this thing? It was great in the beginning. Loved it. I got Snapchat. That's what I wanted it for. I wanted Snapchat because I used to rob my best mate's phone, Abby's phone, for Snapchat all the time. Like, I've got a picture up there. You can't even see it. I've got a picture up there, me and her together, but I've got all the pictures where I was pranning around on the phone. I don't think I've even charged this, or can't even turn this thing on. I don't even want to turn it on, to be honest. Look at that again. The charging thing at the top. Why? And the headphone jack at the top. Why? Actually, you know what? Because I use Bluetooth headphones now, but at the time, it's annoying when it's at the bottom. It was great in the beginning, and then it became so glitchy again. And then Google disowned it, and then this, what was called Joy Launcher, which launcher is the type of, not the operating system, but the way it looks, the way it works, came to it, and it just was no good after that. It just didn't work. It just didn't want to work. I just despised the damn thing. So I left that phone behind, and then I went to the LG K10 2017 edition. Now, on Amazon, when I bought it, I'm not shaming Amazon anyway, because obviously they're just going by what they're told. It told me that it had a fingerprint sensor on the back. No, it doesn't. It's a clicky button. Can you hear that? Yeah, it's a clicky button. But aside from that, I actually loved this phone so much. I love the design of it. I dropped it on a night out. Look at it. And you know what? Actually, I was going to get the screen replaced on this when I had it, but then I ended up just buying a new phone because it was about time to upgrade. Like this, as much as I loved this phone, it was still like the fact that it was micro, USB, stuff like that. It was just old, and I think it just, technology-wise, it was just, not in its best way. but the design of it, and I love like it's curved on the screen, which I love. The colour choice of it, so it's black, but it's got like a rose gold trim and everything. I loved it. Here's the specifications. So it's a 5.3-inch screen, so it's not much bigger than the other one, but you could tell the difference. 5-megapixel wide angle selfie camera, which, to be fair, that was true because it used to get so much. Like when I used to try and do that, it used to make my arms look really weird, but it was really good. Like the camera actually was really, really good. Even though I look back on it now and think it could be better, but to be fair, it's in the budget range. It's the budget phone, it's not the G range. 30-megapixel real camera, which it was okay. I don't think I don't know. I've got that many photos that I took. Like from the back camera, to be honest. I don't think it's got any juice. That's not a juice. A 1.5 gigahertz octa-core processor. This was quite the reason I was going to fix it is because it was quite a smooth running phone. I didn't really have that many problems with the operating system or being too slow. Yeah, it was a great phone at the time, but I dropped it and then it smashed, and it still works. Like the touchscreen still works. It's just to be fair, I actually cut myself on that bit that you seen that was chipped and missing. Then the next phone that I had after that, so the replacement to that's nasty, was the Huawei 20 Lite, which again did me well. Try to get out things so you can see it. Now that feels like glass to me, but I could be totally wrong. It could be plastic because this is technically like, again, the Lite in Huawei family. The Lite is, I think, the cheaper option to the Pro's version of the phone. It had 2 cameras. I think I don't have the box. It's up there. But the camera was a bit better, quite a bit better actually, and it had 2 cameras on the front. Actually, that's a lie, because one of them cameras is not a camera, because I choked it. I put my hand over one of them and the one covered up as the camera and the other one didn't. So I think that's a sensor. The fingerprint touch was on the back, which was all right, but sometimes it wouldn't work and it just really irritated me. It was the first one that was the USB Type-C charging thing, which was, when you go from micro USB to that, it's revolutionary how fast it charges. It's unbelievable. Like the phone I'm using now, that I'm filming with, the Samsung, charges like so quickly. I love this phone. I did actually really love this phone. My only beef with it was the cameras, especially the rear cameras, like the back cameras, because whenever, and for me as a hairdresser as well, I like to take pictures of my work and put them on my Instagram. And some of the pictures, especially if I'm doing cooler colours, no matter how, I mean, I could do ashy colours on clients and I'd take it with this damn thing and it would come out warm. And I'm like, it's not warm. Like, I remember I did one where I took her, like, for ages, I did her as like a copper auburn colour. And then she wanted to go like back to a natural colour, which is like a mousy ashy colour, into like a nice ashy blonde. And it looked like that in person, but this down camera took it and both the pictures looked the same, so I didn't post it because it didn't look like what it did in person. So, you know, and in the end, again, it got really glitchy and just slow, and I was like, I'm just done with this phone, and I just wanted to upgrade, and I did. And I always keep this as a spare, because you never know if the one I currently got now is a problem and needed repairing. I've got one. I've got Medi. And then, because I'm filming with it, you can't see it, but my get the dust off it. My current one is the Galaxy A71 by Samsung. Absolutely love this phone. I went for the black colour, because you got white, black, pink, blue. I think there's another colour that they brought out. Absolutely love this phone. Does me so well. It does minus some of the features that the S family or the Note have, like the wireless charging, that, but to be honest, it's not hard to plug it in, is it, really? The only thing that needs a bit annoying is the backwards charging, because it can help someone out when you put the phone on and it charges, but hey ho. It does me well. I love this one. I can't speak for the new A family ranges that I can't, which I believe there's the 42 and the 90. I can't speak for those. However, I just feel like the 80, because originally I was considering going for the 880, I just feel like when the camera flips over, because the camera comes up and flips over so you don't have a camera on the front side, it sacrifices a lot of what it would do on the back. You can't use the flash. The quality is not as good, so I'm kind of like, I think a lot of them sacrifice what the A71 gives. So like the 64 megapixel camera on the A71 isn't on many of the others, so that's why I didn't go for those. And that is basically all of the phones, or most of them, that I could obviously have in person, that I could speak about, really. Of the evolution of all the phones that I've had. To be honest, when I had this phone, it was fashionable to have the smallest phone you could get. Like, I knew people that had ridiculously small phones that you could barely use, but it was fashionable and it looked cool. And the flip phones were massive. Like, I remember at the time, the Motorola was big for its flip phone. So, like, if you've seen the new flip Motorola touchscreen one, they had an original one, because obviously that was based off of that. I knew loads of people that had that, the slide out keyboard, Algae Cookie, you name it. So yeah, that was all of my phone collection, and it kind of ties in with the fact that I've been on YouTube for 10 years, because technically these phones have spanned 10 years. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe, hit the notification icon to keep in touch with what I'm doing. Leave a comment down below to say what you want me to do next, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.